Authorities announce arrests and criminal charges tonight in the deaths of two Hollywood actors in the closely watched case of Matthew Perry. Investigators accuse doctors and others of preying on the Friends star using his history of addiction against him.
We are not talking about legitimate ketamine treatment. We're talking about two doctors who abused the trust they had, abused their licenses to put another person's life at risk.
Good evening. Welcome to West Coast Wrap. I'm Alex Savage. Tonight, 5 people have been charged in connection with the overdose death of actor Matthew Perry, including his personal assistant and 2 doctors. Authorities say they supplied Perry with the ketamine that killed him. Fox 11's Matthew Seedorf has the details on those who've been charged, including one woman known as the ketamine queen.
5 people arrested in what authorities describe as an underground criminal network tied to the ketamine death of star actor Matthew Perry.
These defendants took advantage of Mr. Perry's addiction issues to enrich themselves.
Best known for his role as Chandler Bing on the popular TV show Friends.
In front of the drowning.
Last October, the 54-year-old was found dead in a hot tub outside his home in Pacific Palisades. The medical examiner later finding ketamine in his blood, roughly the amount used for general anesthesia.
Matthew Perry sought treatment for depression and anxiety. When clinic doctors refused to increase his dosage, he turned to unscrupulous doctors.
Exclusive Fox 11 video shows Dr. Salvador Plasencia pacing as police use a search warrant to raid his home in Santa Monica. The 42-year-old doctor, along with Dr. Mark Chavez, Eric Fleming, the actor's personal assistant Kenneth Iwamasa, and Jasmine Sonia, also known as the ketamine queen, all now face federal charges.
They knew what they were doing was wrong. They knew what they were doing was risking great danger to Mr. Perry.
Text messages show the 2 doctors discussing how much to charge the actor for ketamine. Dr. Plasencia messaging, "I wonder how much this moron will pay, and let's find out." Another text involves the so-called ketamine queen and a sample of the drug, writing, "If he likes it, which I'm confident he will, he has to pay me back."
Never thought something like this would happen with my next door neighbor.
Jamie Jude lives in the same apartment building described in the court documents as Sonia's stash house.
There's always people going in and out of the apartment carrying briefcases and stuff, so we knew that something was kind of off.
She's known as the ketamine queen. We believe she was a major source of supply.
Was she selling these to anyone and everyone, or just the Hollywood people?
I can't say her customer list or customer base. She was selling drugs on a broad level. She had methamphetamine, cocaine, bottle of Xanax, you name it.
After Perry's death, another text between the group reportedly said, "Delete all our messages." Authorities also now tying the so-called ketamine queen to the death of a 35-year-old man in 2019. Reporting in North Hollywood, Matthew Seedorf, Fox 11 News.
And earlier, we talked with TMZ's Branson Quirk about the network of people accused of supplying ketamine to Matthew Perry. 3 of them have already reached plea deals, including Perry's personal assistant, as well as a San Diego doctor.
One of them is facing a 15-year sentence, the other facing a 25-year sentence, but law enforcement did say that they will, consider reducing their sentences for that cooperation.
And Quirk added that Perry's family is thankful that people will be brought to justice for providing those drugs to the actor. We turn now to a major break in the investigation into the murder of General Hospital actor Johnny Wachter in Los Angeles. Today, the LAPD announced 4 people have been arrested in connection with that killing that happened back in May. Authorities say 3 men were booked on murder charges and the 4th for being an accessory. All the suspects are between the ages of 18 and 22. Police say Wachter was shot in downtown L.A. after discovering several people trying to steal his car's catalytic converter. Now that there have been arrests in this case, attention is turning to how the 4 men will be prosecuted.
This is not just about Johnny. This is about the whole city of L.A. And we need to make an example of what happens when you break the law here. Sentencing enhancements need to go back on, gun enhancements, and especially in this case, gang enhancements.
There was a murder. A tragic murder, a lot of pain and suffering from the family members, from the friends. This is a felony case, period.
Wachter's mother says she remembers her son as a compassionate person who would always try to help others.
Last night when it first started, it was just a small column of fire. Where it started was just a huge degree of slope and dangerous conditions to even think about putting firefighters into it.
A big challenge for firefighters west of Seattle tonight. A new wildfire has people on alert in the town of Brennan on the Olympic Peninsula. Rugged terrain and thick smoke is making it difficult to fight the flames here. People in this area have been warned to get ready to evacuate if that becomes necessary. So far, at least 340 acres have burned here. The cause of this fire is under investigation tonight. And in Nevada, fire crews are getting a handle on a wildfire burning west of Reno near the California border. Footage posted by the Reno Fire Department shows an aerial view of hot spots remaining from the 657-acre Gold Ranch fire in the town of Verde. Fire officials say the fire is now 88% contained. It started back on Sunday and was started by a car fire. More than 100 homes were threatened and many people in this area were forced to evacuate. Testimony continued today in the murder trial of a former Las Vegas politician. Robert Tellez, a former Clark County public administrator, is accused of killing investigative journalist Jeff German back in 2022. Today, several of the state's key witnesses took the stand, including the county medical examiner and homicide detectives. Investigators say German's reporting about Tellez and turmoil at City Hall was the motivation for the killing. This trial is expected to last about 2 weeks. Today, a San Francisco judge dismissed dozens of criminal cases, including domestic violence cases. KTVU's Christian Captain explains why the courts took this extreme step.
San Francisco Superior Court faced a backlog of cases, saying delays during the height of the COVID pandemic put dozens of cases in legal limbo. Today, the court considered 76 cases ranging from DUI to domestic violence, including the dismissal of a case against the driver in this case, who faced charges of vehicular manslaughter for this crash in 2022 that killed 2 women. Ultimately, the court dismissed 70 of the cases. Some of the cases spent months or even years in the system. UC School of Law San Francisco professor David Levine says the Constitution guarantees the right to a speedy trial.
Basically, because you don't want people left with this with a criminal accusation hanging over you, or even worse, to be stuck in jail while you await your trial.
San Francisco's district attorney released a statement laying the blame on the court. She says the court's decision to continue cases beyond their statutory deadlines deprived defendants and victims of their day in court. Quote, regrettably, the system has now failed countless victims of crime who will not see justice done. Andrea Lindsay from San Francisco's Public Defender's Office said their attorneys have been furious about this issue for years. Now, she said, dozens of clients who've lived for months or even years under the threat of legal prosecution can resume their lives.
Our reaction is it's overdue. It's finally justice for those individuals, but it's long overdue. And what it means for a lot of these individuals is they can now move on with their lives.
This afternoon, the Superior Court judge who decided the matter released a statement saying the court was bound by an appeals court decision to dismiss those 70 cases. The court also pushed back on the DA, saying, quote, in the future, we hope that the DA's office will prioritize cases appropriately so that justice can be served. The court says there are still 119 no time waiver misdemeanor cases still pending. In San Francisco, Christian Captain, KTVU, Fox 2 News.
Newly released body camera footage shows some of what happened before LA County Sheriff's deputies shot and killed a carjacking suspect.
Hey, get cover, get cover, get cover! Listen to the guys! Hey, listen to the guys!
This all unfolded last month when deputies spotted a vehicle suspected of being stolen in a carjacking. Investigators say the driver, 19-year-old Luis Flores, refused to pull over. Deputies chased the car for miles until it hit a pole on a sidewalk. Deputies then pinned the car between the pole and one of their vehicles. While the car was trapped, officials say Flores put it in reverse and hit the gas. That's when deputies opened fire. Flores was taken to a hospital where he died. The Sheriff's Department says the investigation into this shooting continues. Turning now to politics, and we have 81 days to go until the November election. And this week, both major campaigns are focused on the economy. Today, Vice President Harris and President Biden appeared together in Maryland. It was the pair's first joint event since Biden ended his re-election bid. They said because of the administration's drug price negotiations, hundreds of dollars and in some cases thousands will be knocked off the list prices of 10 of Medicare's most popular and expensive drugs.
2 years ago, we gave Medicare the power to negotiate lower prescription drug prices for the first time in history. And here is why that matters.
These new prices on 10 drugs will cumulatively mean $1.5 billion less out of pocket for patients to the drug companies. Lower copays for many of the 9 million seniors who take these drugs.
The new drug prices are scheduled to take effect in 2026. Former President Trump held his second news conference of the week today. Before taking questions, the former president spoke for nearly 45 minutes, attacking Vice President Harris on the border, energy, and the economy.
Kamala Harris is a radical California liberal who broke the economy, broke the border, and broke the world, frankly. Very destructive to the entire world, because as we go, oftentimes the world goes.
Despite pressure from some of his advisors, Trump said today he is not changing his campaign strategy, arguing he is entitled to make personal attacks. He stood today in front of several grocery items at his club in New Jersey, his golf club there, blaming the Biden administration for inflation and the cost of everyday goods. Coming up tonight here on West Coast Rap, thousands eager to see Bruno Mars perform in Southern California tonight. This concert being held in the West's newest sports and entertainment venue. Coming up, we'll take you inside the Intuit Dome for its grand debut.
And in weather, here is our live camera in Southern California with mostly sunny skies. We will have the updated forecast coming up.
Shirts back from the 80s when we were all partying hard. Those are worth money now.
And coming up tonight, the boomer generation's trash is turning into Gen Z's treasure. We'll show you how things showing up in secondhand stores are turning into big-ticket items. The West's newest sports and entertainment venue making its debut tonight with Bruno Mars playing to a sold-out crowd. The Intuit Dome is just outside of Los Angeles in Inglewood, and it is now the home of the NBA's LA Clippers. The $2 billion arena features integrated facial recognition software designed to make it easier and quicker to get inside and buy concessions. There are also controllers built into the seats to allow the crowds to interact with a double-sided halo board. The Clippers chairman helped build excitement for tonight's opening with a speech this afternoon.
I'm fired up. I have to say, I'm a little anxious tonight. I love what we built, but I want all of you to love what we built.
There is another sold-out Bruno Mars concert happening at the Intuit Dome tomorrow night. All right, some people in Las Vegas voicing their frustration tonight over loud music that's coming from the Sphere. The venue has been open for nearly a year now, but people who live nearby say the Sphere started playing music outside 24/7 last month, and the operators now want to crank it up. They're asking for permission to play music that exceeds the county's noise limits for 18 events throughout the year.
We are going to be subjected to very high decibel levels 18 times a year. I don't know about you, I go to bed at 10 o'clock. I'm not going to bed at 10 o'clock those 18 nights of the year because the noise will be way too loud.
In a vote this week, an advisory board approved the Sphere's request. The county commissioners will make a final decision on this issue coming up next month. A judge in Southern California has ruled UCLA must protect Jewish students' access to campus after some were denied access during pro-Palestinian protests. 3 students sued the university over protests back in April that prevented them from attending classes. The students claimed they were being discriminated against. UCLA argued that it has no legal responsibility over this issue because protesters, not the university, blocked Jewish students' access to the school.
Every school in the country now knows if you allow this to happen to the Jews on your campus, you're violating civil rights laws.
The U.S. District Judge ruled the university is prohibited from providing classes and access to buildings on campus if Jewish students are blocked from it. A UCLA spokesperson said the ruling would, quote, improperly hamstring our ability to respond to events on the grounds. A whole lot of people in Colorado hoping for calmer weather ahead of this weekend. These images posted to social media show storms slamming Fort Collins last night, packing strong winds. So far, no reports of any damage in this area. Let's bring in KTVU meteorologist Mark Tamayo, who is tracking these summer storms moving across the west. Mark?
Hi there, Alex. Yeah, kind of in the same areas each and every day. In fact, this was the radar last night into Wednesday evening. You can see some action over portions of Colorado. So, yeah, some thunderstorm activity there. As we back out the maps, fairly quiet over California, even out toward Arizona. We are watching this one system, though, up in the Pacific Northwest, linked up with possibly some thunderstorms and some lightning, as you can see that rotation moving through Oregon. And fire danger is a concern. So all these areas here in red, we're talking about fire weather warning in place until 9 o'clock this evening. And then a fire weather watch could actually get reissued as we do move into Saturday as well. This was Seattle today, showing you some cloud cover. Temperature is 74 degrees. One of the cooler spots, at least compared to, of course, Southern California and in Arizona, with the temperatures there topping 100 degrees. But San Francisco in the upper 60s, lots of sunshine looking out toward Golden Gate Park and Ocean Beach. And then Los Angeles, this is actually Santa Monica. Beach air temperatures, clear skies, but Los Angeles, a high of 87 degrees. Right now, though, it's 107 degrees. The heat, as you would expect it, out toward Arizona right now. Las Vegas is 102. San Francisco has cooled off to 63, and Portland, Oregon in the mid-70s. Here's the plan for tomorrow for your Friday. This system, we're going to keep an eye on this system. That'll impact Northern California and the Pacific Northwest this weekend in terms of cloud cover and rain chances. Now, partly sunny skies for Seattle tomorrow, some 80s for Los Angeles. It's warm to hot out toward Phoenix and also out toward Denver as well. Here is the forecast model. This is throughout your Friday. And the main action, as you can see offshore out here in the Pacific with this system here. Look what happens as we take this into your Saturday, and we're tracking some rain across parts of Northern California and up in the Pacific Northwest. A place like Seattle, those rain chances going up for both Saturday and into Sunday. This is also linked up with some stronger winds. A fire weather watch is in place for the Sierra. This is for the Saturday forecast as well. Some gusty winds developing. So here's kind of the breakdown for tomorrow, with Olympia tomorrow in the mid-70s, San Jose in the Bay Area 84 degrees, Santa Clarita upper 90s, and Scottsdale 111 degrees. Over the next 3 days, we are tracking more clouds in Seattle. We'll keep an eye on those rain chances this weekend. Of course, the heat continues to be, it's big, the constant in our forecast out toward Phoenix, 110 to 112 degrees. Alex.
Mark, thank you. The American Red Cross says extreme heat and recent natural disasters are contributing to the country's emergency blood supply shortage. Fox's Sunny Sai spoke with donors in Las Vegas who are working to help build up that region's life-saving supply.
Not only is there a shortage of blood donations across the country, but there is also a specific need for type O blood. That's according to Vitalant, a nonprofit that has blood banks nationwide. In fact, Vitalant is hosting more than 50 drives this month in parts of Nevada to combat the need.
My best friend almost died in a car accident when I was like 19 or 20, and so I've seen the power of blood donations.
Nina Duran has been donating blood a couple times a year for the last 15 years.
It's a life-saving thing that I can do that costs me nothing but an hour of my time.
In the chair next to her is retired trauma nurse Sheila McDonnell-Speece. McDonnell-Speece says in the 47 years she's been a nurse, there has always been a need for blood.
People will always be in car accidents. Stabbings, unfortunately, or gunshot wounds, or people with leukemia.
As blood banks across the nation are running low on blood, some are placing an emphasis on one blood type over others.
Type O is known as a universal donor. So if you came in and we needed to give you blood right away, it would be O, because we don't know if you're A or B or AB.
Vitalant's type O supply hit an 18-month low in July and is working back up to have a constant 4-day supply of blood available.
If you just keep lowering the number, that just impacts how many people you can help. And that, honestly, no doctor wants to have to make that choice of saying, you can't be helped today, but I gotta help this person.
Meanwhile, Red Cross's entire inventory has shrunk by 25%, and the supply of donors has not kept up with the need.
Studies have demonstrated that every minute of delay of blood products in these situations will increase the risk of death by 5%. So the blood on the shelves at hospitals is absolutely critical.
Blood cannot be stored long term, which means nonprofits like American Red Cross and Vitalant consistently need donors to step up. In Las Vegas, Sunny Side, Fox News.
Coming up tonight here on West Coast Wrap, you may want to think twice before you toss out old clothes or furniture. Tonight, the whole new generation of shoppers looking for everything vintage. And a famous geological formation here in the West changed forever. We'll break down exactly what happened to Utah's famous toilet bowl. An auction house in Glendale, Arizona says it's noticed an interesting trend among its customers. Fox's Dominique Newland brings us the details from the store's owner, who says boomers' trash has become Gen X's treasure.
It's not out with the old and in with the new. Old is in fact in. For boomers who may have old items sitting in storage, EJ's Auction and Appraisals in Glendale says keep it.
Throw nothing out. Don't throw anything out. As little, as insignificant as you think it might be, it could be valuable, whether it was a flyer from Minder Binders from 1985, especially if you're a local Arizonan.
The auction house says they've noticed more younger people registering to bid online, looking for all types of vintage finds.
T-shirts back from the 80s when we were all partying hard, those are worth money now.
Trucker hats, classic gold medals. You know, Gen Z, we're at the age where we're not getting the metal that's turning your fingers green. We're actually getting nice pieces of jewelry.
Mid-century furniture, vintage baseball caps, even digital cameras are some of the hot commodities too. Going to show what goes around comes around.
It's cyclical. You know, it goes in circles. But what you find, what's super hot is what you may have grown up, you know, your parents had when you were 13 or 14, you thought was, you know, pretty cool then. Later on starts getting more popular, and then you know, your 40s and 50s, that stuff becomes extremely desirable.
Eric says if you think something may be of value, always have a professional look at it first. Auctions at EJ's are online every Saturday, and you may just find something you've been looking for. For Fox 10 News, I'm Dominique Newland.
And finally tonight, a famous geological feature in Utah known as the toilet bowl has collapsed.
Well, the toilet bowl in Lake Powell is no more.
One visitor to southern Utah's Glen Canyon National Recreation Area captured these images of what the rocky toilet bowl looks like today. Its famous double arch feature, now a thing of the past. The National Park Service says the giant arches collapsed last week. No one was injured in that collapse. Erosion and shifting water levels have been an issue in this area for years now, but rangers are still working to figure out exactly what caused this collapse. They believe these old arches were formed back in the late Triassic to early Jurassic periods. A shame to see they're gone now. That does it for West Coast Wrap tonight. We appreciate you watching. Have a great night.